Alright, so here we go. Yes, it's 2026, and Space Marine 2 is getting a ton of new content this year, starting with the Techmarine, which, by the way, we've got some very interesting things happening around him in this video. Yes, the dev team, or I should say the community managers on behalf of the devs, have replied to future things happening here very soon, and also some warnings here and there to keep your hype levels in check. But we also have some new leaks about the more immediate future of the game, and we're talking about Total War Warhammer 40K, because this headline piqued my interest big time. Is the new Total War actually taking inspiration from Helldivers 2? This should be very, very interesting, and there might be a very, very good reason, by the way, to actually hop into Space Marine 2's PvP in 2026. We're definitely going to talk about that one. And you know what? Check this out right here. So guys, there's this really cool game I've been playing recently called Motto Immortal, which is an RPG strategy card collecting game, and I love the dark and sleek art style. And the gameplay blends strategic card collecting, idle progression, and thrilling rogue-like challenges. And a huge thanks to Motto Immortal, by the way, for sponsoring this video. And as you progress in Motto Immortal, you will collect and command a diverse roster of powerful gods and goddesses from Eastern and Western mythologies, and you can even engage in dynamic, real-time conversations with AI-driven deities. You'll also embark on strategic missions to purify corrupted deities and liberate the world from what's described as a consuming shadow. And some of the powerful deities in the game include Ares, the god of war and courage, and who is a powerful zodiac card obtained upon completion of pre-registration. More on that later. And then there's Isis, who is the goddess of life, magic, marriage, and fertility, and is an archer for PvE mode. And yes, this game includes PvE mode as well, which is really cool. And then you have Freya, who is the goddess of love and beauty, and considered a powerful support deity obtainable with first recharge. So join me now and click on the link in the description below, or scan the QR code to download Motto Immortal and pre-register to obtain rewards like the powerful hero Ares, milestone rewards, and even Discord event rewards too. Check out all of the links in the description below, or scan that QR code to get started with Motto Immortal. And special thanks once again to Motto Immortal for supporting my channel. So let's get into the news about Update 12, which of course will be dropping here in early 2026. So heading on over to the official Space Marine 2 Discord, once again, the community managers were kind enough to answer some questions, starting out with this one. So, Missaloft, when do we expect for the news? Is it this week or next week? And our community manager responded saying this, that he's working on it, and he highlighted this Techmarine Google Doc, and you gotta love the spelling there. Some people on the Discord thought he was kind of like completely joking around. However, he gave further updates saying this: I'll be making a blog post dedicated to the Techmarine with some videos of him in action. The big question is, what do you guys want to see? We've seen some teases as to what to expect from the finishers and executions for the Techmarine, but I honestly want to see more of those because they look absolutely badass from the leaks and things that we've seen there. The shoulder cannon, by the way, might also get its very own video snippet. So yeah, honestly, can't wait to see what they've been cooking up over there at Saber with the Techmarine. But we also got a warning about this particular blog post, by the way, with our community managers saying, but it takes a little time, so be patient. So this isn't going to be dropping immediately, so just don't be like holding your breath here. So give it some time, and I think the patience will pay off. But I'm crossing my fingers, honestly, that we get this blog post in January. That sure would be nice. And we have yet another question here. Any word on when we should get news about this upcoming Chaos Legion for the Techmarine? Thank you. And yes, we did get a reply stating probably this month. And then there's theories that there might actually be a really, really good reason to check out PvP in this upcoming update. Heading on over to the Space Marine 2 subreddit, this discussion revolved around the Techmarine and not just PvE, but again, PvP. Check it out. Here is what was said out on Reddit, Techmarine and Chaos DM. Let me start by saying that I understand that Eternal War PvP is not everyone's cup of tea, which is fair, but I enjoy it, and this post relates to this. Recently, I went on an absolute bender and finished unlocking all the Relic War Armor sets for the Chaos Marines, and I came to the realization that in the leaks for the upcoming Techmarine, he's going to be fully playable in PvP. Oh boy, I cannot wait to try him in PvP. I will definitely be hopping in PvP just to try him out. This also means that the Loyalist Techmarine will obviously have a Heretic counterpart, and I begin to wonder what Traitor Heretic Legion he'll belong to. I assume, that the Heretic Techmarine will probably be a Slaanesh worshipping Emperor's Children Heretic Astartes, but I'm genuinely curious of what the Relic War armor would look like for the Slaanesh worshipper, and I want to know if anyone has any possible ideas or concepts for what may be added to the game in not only the Eternal War, but operations. So great question there, but things definitely got interesting in the comments of this post, so check it out. I'm going to go out on a limb and say either Red Corsairs or Emperor's Children, which is a great assumption because we have further evidence pointing to this as well. With this, I have this thought he'd be Red Corsair despite the fact we're missing 2 Heretic Legions, and this would be the opportune time to utilize them. Haran has a new mini, so it's probably Red Corsair. But heading back to the official Discord, the questions for the dev team didn't stop there. In fact, we have this one right here. Noted, but Mislov, do you guys have something else besides the Techmarine? And he's referencing, of course, new updates and things like that coming up here, especially when it comes to the blog post. And guess what? Yes, looks like we might be getting some surprises as confirmed here with our community manager saying, yeah, there's always new stuff. Maybe we'll reveal some content of the update 12 in the January community update. Hell yes, that's what I'm talking about. So crossing our fingers that we get some really good teases in that blog post. Remember, that happens at the end of every month. Now, remember, we're getting a lot of cool stuff beyond just the Techmarine in update 12 with one crucial omission. So a little bit of a warning here. Patch 12 will come with a new class, the Techmarine, with the Omnissiah Axe, new operation, new battlefield conditions for stratagems, new heroic weapons, technical improvements as usual, and more. But the battlebarge expansion will unfortunately have to be delayed to a later patch. They go on to say we prefer releasing a version we're satisfied with rather than just follow schedule at all costs. And I do love that kind of, adjustment and planning. We don't want something that's just meh, so I'm kind of curious to see what they do with the battle barge. What would you guys like to see for the battle barge? I would love to see full-blown customization for almost like everything in the battle barge. They could do a lot of really, really cool stuff with that. But yeah, if you're expecting the battle barge to once again drop in update 12, it's not going to be happening, but it will be happening later on. Now, I'm all about the new Operation Techmarine, so I'm not really complaining too much here. And we have even more questions about upcoming new customization options, by the way, with this one right here. Will the heads be available on all classes or only specific ones? Also, will you consider doing more voices, head packs in the future if this one is received well? I'd love to see Salamanders, Dark Angels, White Scars, and something similar to Malam Kato. And for those of you that might not be in the know, yes, we are getting brand new customizable heads, so you might be seeing kind of like helmetless Space Marines roaming around. Let me know if that's going to be you. But we did get a clean-cut answer about this with our community manager confirming, yes, it will be available for all classes. Great to hear. And heading over to Space Marine 2 modding Discord, we got some important leaks indicating the more immediate future of the game. Although, again, these aren't confirmed, so remember that. So let's get into what was said right here. So, 47 Alpha posted this. Merry Christmas, everyone. Here are the weekly stratagems for January 2026. Now, of course, at this point, we're looking at the 14th through basically the 28th of January. And you guys can pause the screen right now to kind of see what is potentially coming up here in the future. And for those of you wondering, hey, Robbie, would we be getting even more emotes in the future? Well, it looks like there were some that were actually created, but ultimately tabled for reasons because, yes, of their wacky nature. It's unlikely that they would make it into the game. But here's what our community manager had to say about that. Fun fact. We had a lot more emotes planned initially, including funny ones like doing a backflip with your Space Marine, but those that are in the game are the only ones that made the cut. He doesn't go on to say that they're currently working on a bunch of brand new emotes or anything like that, but it would be really, really cool to see more team-centric emotes, even like where you can interact with all 3 players. That would be really, really cool. Now, in other news, beyond Space Marine 2, but very much in the Warhammer 40K universe, yes, we have Warhammer 40K Total War news, or I should say Total War Warhammer 40K. This is the headline according to Games Radar. Total War Warhammer 40K Crusades sound a lot like Helldivers 2 Galactic Map, and strategy sickos should pay attention. Every campaign you play, there is meaning to it. So yeah, the interview goes on to read this. This is kind of the intro to it. There's good reason to be excited. The Total War Warhammer trilogy has established itself as the seminal adaptation of Games Workshop's high fantasy setting, and the 40K universe offers an even vaster sandbox to play with. Creative Assembly isn't shying away from that scope, instead aiming to capture a galaxy-wide conflict in a way that no Warhammer video game has achieved before. And it goes on to say this: it's a fascinating level of ambition, and there are still many unanswered questions. To learn more about how Total War Warhammer 40K intends to do so much, they caught up with Creative Assembly Simon Mand, who's the product owner and campaign designer, and Andy Hall, principal narrative designer. So let's check out the actual quotes from the dev team. Check it out right here. You can even just play battles if you wish, even in that area that there are these strike battles, very vital conflicts you need to win, or you can just send your customized troops to fight a battle. If you're the sort of person who's only got a short amount of time, we're here for you. We've got something you can do. Every campaign you play, there's meaning to it. It's not just, I won that campaign, that was fun. It's, I won the campaign, we have the territory, we've conquered this location, we are now able to push further into this area of the galaxy and play through that way. We really think it adds an awful lot of extra feeling and kind of internal narrative for you as a player to try these things out. And let me tell you what, I am so excited for this game the more I read up on it, to hear that they're kind of maybe influenced by, I suppose, Helldivers 2, and that galactic map we've seen there is pretty cool. Although we've seen other RTS games, don't get me wrong, do kind of like a galactic style map. But yeah, to see that Total Warhammer 40K is going to try to tackle this, that's going to be really, really cool. And I really hope that it pans out that this game is an absolute smash hit, because I really, really want to see RTS games really back on the radar. They kind of are like re-emerging in a way. You know, I played the absolute hell out of StarCraft, Age of Empires, Cossacks, whatever was RTS back in the day. I absolutely played it. So I'm really hoping we see a big resurgence in RTS games with this Warhammer 40K Total War game. And I think it's time, yes, to go over your top comments. You guys know the drill. Leave a comment down below for a chance for it to end up here in a future video. So let's see what you guys said in my most recent video. Starting out with this one right here, we need a major optimization update. I'm seeing myself hit as low as 30 frames in horde mode at performance mode, 60 FPS. It is unfortunate. Yikes. Ouch. So I'm kind of curious what platform that is, by the way. He didn't state the platform, I don't think, but let me know if you guys are dealing with this as well. And I've also noticed some hiccups in my FPS lately as well, you know, and I'm on PC and I never usually have any issues with Space Marine 2, but they really do seem to be cropping up more recently, even in operations, by the way. And it's not like a full-blown FPS issue, I guess you would say. It was more like a stutter, like a complete freeze, then I can move. Let me know if you guys are experiencing this or not. Now, next up, we have glad to see that the Techmarine will use his servo arm in the execution animations. And that's exactly why I'm looking forward to this new blog post from Saber coming up here. I really do hope, by the way, they add in some teases to some of those executions and finishers in that blog post, because it seems like they're getting quite creative with it from the leaks. So yeah, cannot wait to see that all finished and done with that brand new weapon. Also, we need more customization, colors, and slots. I'm tired of deleting one of my cool armors for a new one. Yeah, that would be absolutely cool to see. And I'm pretty surprised with some of the new customization things that the team is actually committing to right now and giving us. So you never know. Maybe, just maybe, we would see this down the road. That would be very, very cool. Also, mentioning customization, this is something you guys are talking about. We need Space Wolves with beards. Hell yes. Absolutely 100%. I want to see way more customization options when it comes to facial hair. Yeah, give us some really cool beards. And there it is. So yeah, really excited to see what's in store for Space Marine 2 in 2026. Honestly, Warhammer as a franchise. And I've been enjoying the game a lot lately, I got to say, because of all the operations that I've been able to add into the game. You know, they are really starting to stack up the amount of operations, which is something that I love to see, and I cannot wait to see what Space Marine 2 looks like when 2026 is all said and done. And the question is, what could we potentially see in 2027? But that's for another time. Let's stick to 2026 because that just started. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned here for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.